Hi, welcome to Just Common Sense. My name's Brian Harrison, and guess what? I have Brian on the line tonight. He wants to talk about what's going on, what his views and opinions are right now. He's just a citizen. He's very upset. He's got friends from all over. He's got friends he knows in the military and stuff, and he's very upset with what's going on, and many people in this country are. So, Brian, hey, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing about as good as I was last night when I got to watch a little bit of the president.
Yeah, no, I know. It was sad. And, I put out a portrait out there, and I've been posting that on his Twitter account, on the White House Twitter and Facebook account. And the portrait is the back of Joe Biden. You know what this stands for? When anybody wants to talk to Joe Biden, he turns his back, just like he turned his back on the Americans he left behind overseas. He has turned his back on the Afghans that we made promises to. I just found out tonight there's some journalists that he left over there. I found out that some of the Americans, by the way, I just found this out probably about half an hour ago, some of the Americans made it to the gate. But the generals were going, no, Biden told us we got to go because he's the commander-in-chief. They left them behind as they were at the gate. At the gate. They got to the gate. And a lot of the military were like, we need to open the gate. We need to unlock this. But they had orders not to. I didn't know if you heard anything about that tonight, Brian, but I did want to bring that up.
One of the things that I did hear is that one of the mothers of one of the 13 heroes that was killed, that she got in his face. She was angry with him, and he rolled his eyes, he wrung his hands, and he turned his back on her. That's what I heard.
He is a disgrace. He should be impeached. I think actually maybe they should look at some charges against this guy. He is a very, very, very bad guy, in my opinion. He's not our president. He's not presidential. And, I'm going to say it. You've got a lot of the senators right now up there, and not all of them, because as we know, some of them are cowards. We'll say that. Some of them are worried more about a paycheck than about lives. We're going to say that as well. They have no love for America. All they care about is money and who they're in bed with, we'll say. People like Jim. Go ahead.
They're as courageous as they were after the November 3rd.
Correct. And we saw the Supreme Court, many other courts out there just turn their back as well. Because I say there's good judges and there's corrupt judges. Going into that a little bit too, I'm going to talk about it. Like you got Green, you got Jordan, you've got Ted Cruz, you've got quite a few of them out there that are great. They tried to go ahead, put some paperwork. They wanted to start proceedings to impeach this guy, Biden. Mitch McConnell, you are a loser. You're a coward, and that's what you are. Let me tell you something, Mitch. Yeah, he's laughing on the other line because I'm telling you, Mitch, all you care about. Let me go into this with you, Mitch. First of all, we all used to respect you. We thought you were going to do something, but you care more about a paycheck. You don't have a spine in your body when it comes down to this. When you look at this, there are Americans left behind. There are promises we made to the Afghans. There's equipment left behind. Guess where that equipment's going tonight? China's won. They're gonna break or tear this stuff down, figure it all out, learn more about our military helicopters and all the stuff we've got. Plus, I just heard they're shipping some stuff to Iran. Mitch, I'm going to say this. If you don't start getting off your butt and doing your job because you're a public servant, and that's all you are, nothing more. That's what you guys are. We are the employers. You're the employee. Nothing more. Do your job, because I'm telling you what, if you don't, you're just as bad as Biden. And the blood of these people sitting over there getting tortured and all right now are on your hands. And the American people are going to see it. And I'm going to say this. They're saying, oh, well, maybe what's going to happen here is they're just going to go ahead and forget about it over time. Let me tell you something, Biden. Nobody's going to forget about this, and we're going to keep going at this and keep going at this, and we are definitely not going to forget this ever. This is far worse than January 6th. I'm going to tell you, far worse. And people may doubt that, but it is far worse what's going on right now. Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry. Tell I'm fired up on this one.
I wouldn't expect anything from McConnell.
Not at all.
McConnell he's the same swamp creature that
Yes.
he always has been.
It's part of the swamp.
I'm thrilled that we have a handful of Republicans that do have courage.
Yeah.
It's not enough, and there's not going to be enough. But
No.
what is happening is, imagine a lot of people are getting hurt. Americans are getting killed, like we know about the 13.
Yeah.
They're not the only Americans that have been killed. There are families that are getting ruined. And they're the ones, ultimately, if it's going to be turned around, they're the ones, ultimately. It's going to be us.
Yeah.
We may not have been hurt as much as these families, but the more this grows, the closer we are going to get to it. And so expect D.C. to fix it. They're diseased as it is.
Yep.
And I think one of the best things that we have going for us right now is when Joe Biden does address the country.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he speaks to the country, he shows who he is.
That's
now,
correct.
You may have known who he was. You knew who he was before the election.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who he was before the election. A lot of us did. But like it or not, there were too many who didn't know who he was.
Right.
And I think that those people, every time in this context, they get a chance to see how he responds. His lack of response, his lack of empathy, his lack of consideration. He'd rather talk about his son, which, I get. He's lost his son, but that was years ago.
Yeah.
These parents are raw, heartbroken.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have empathy for them. For him to roll his eyes at the one mother just tells you how far gone he is.
Yeah, and Brian, I'm going to tell you, it's a sad thing because, I'm sorry. One thing I will say to you, Joe Biden, and I don't know if you're ever going to hear this, but yes, we are sorry you lost your son. That's a tragic thing. Nobody should lose their child. We're not saying anything about that. Sorry about that. I'm not a fan of your other son with everything he's done, but, if everything goes great in his future and on, and that he were a different person and got straight, then we would look back and say everybody makes mistakes, but he continues to do stuff just like you do, because a leopard does not change its spots a lot of times, in which we see this in Joe Biden himself. Now, I do want to mention something, you like that, but I want to mention something here about Joe Biden too. And, when I first saw it, when coffins were being taken off the plane of these 13 soldiers, which is very tragic, Joe Biden looked at his watch. And the first thing I thought, I saw it on the news, and I'm thinking, what's the big deal? He looked at his watch. That's when I first said that. But then I found out that he looked at it not just once, not just twice, like they said a whole bunch of times. Every time the soldier was being taken off, he's looking at his watch. He continues to look at his watch. Now, I know a little bit about psychology and stuff. We'll just say that. But when someone's doing that, it tells you that they don't want to be there. They're bored, and they want to get out of there. That's exactly what's your thoughts on that, Brian?
No, I do. I certainly agree. It's his insensitivity to what has happened, not just for the parents, but also to honor those heroes that were killed. And I did hear the saying that it wasn't just one time that he looked at his watch.
Yeah.
He did it multiple times, and it came from one of the fathers of the fallen.
Yeah. I know. It's very tragic.
He's a national security threat at this point.
I'm on to agree with this.
More people in all likelihood are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah.
And the world's watching, as we know. And domestically, he's a disaster.
Yeah.
Before this policy, colossal disaster,
Yeah.
just the domestic situation, the open borders, and the contradiction that
Yeah.
we've got unvaccinated piling in. And I can come back from Philadelphia today, and I can hear at the Philadelphia airport that if you don't wear a mask, you can get a $250 fine.
Right.
I mean, you get these people that are coming across the border from multiple countries,
Right.
and they get to stay in hotels. But I get a $250 fine if I don't comply.
Right. And the thing about this is we're talking about the borders as well. Guess what's going to be coming across the borders too? Because they are open right now and they are letting more COVID in here. But we know we're going to see some terrorists come across if this continues. They've talked about that already.
Who's to say that this,
exactly,
you didn't have terrorists even before the collapse of Afghanistan?
Correct.
And Taliban.
There's been rumors of thousands here already. I don't know. That's just rumors. I don't have proof on that, so I can't back that up. But obviously, this is a show. It's called just about common sense, basically. Common sense is if you leave a border open, guess what's going to come across? We already know fentanyl's coming across. Fentanyl's coming from China, the majority of it. We know that, obviously. And a variety of things are coming across there. I mean, you get a lot of bad people up here, and you're going to see another 9/11 if this continues. And this is terrible. And Joe Biden's like, okay, well, we trust what the Taliban is doing. Okay, well, last I saw it on. I actually saw it on CNN where they had the reporter. She got scared because they told her, "You're a woman. Put your mask on. Stand here." And they showed people getting hit and all kinds of stuff. The videos are out there where people getting abused, hit. They're going house to house trying to find these people, these Americans, trying to find the people that were, Afghans that were helping the Americans. They're looking for them like crazy, trying to find them.
Too, of having one of our helicopters with a body hanging off the back of it by a rope.
Oh, I know. And
when have we seen that in our history?
Yeah. And did we ever actually hear, I'm just curious, did you hear it? I never heard a word from Biden going, this is a tragedy. Those people were falling off the helicopter, or the planes, I should say. This is a tragedy. I am terribly upset seeing this. I am nothing, because he has the man has no feelings at all. No feelings at all, in my opinion. And to do this with the parents of these 13 soldiers, the fathers that were involved, I heard from them yesterday. This guy is he's not a president. He's not presidential. Mitch McConnell, I am totally ashamed of him. He's just as bad right now if he's not going to do anything about this. And Mitch is probably saying, well, the House is going to rule us out, blah, 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 blah. That's Mitch McConnell. I almost, Go ahead. I'll tell you something.
If we can beat this back, Mitch McConnell's days are numbered. He's done.
Oh, yeah. He'll be voted out next time. He's gone. We don't care. And he'll have this.
Again, like we see in Biden, Americans are seeing what these people are not made of. And it's pretty obvious when you have a tragedy like this and they do what they do.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's bad. Biden's the worst of it, but you could say the same thing about McConnell, is that his actions or his response to what Biden has done is, you could say that's his disregard for those 13 Americans who were killed.
And that's where I said the blood goes back on him.
Yeah,
if not doing anything about it, that's where I say the blood goes back on his hands. He's just as guilty, almost, for not doing anything about this and trying to do the right thing and try to impeach this president, because I'm seeing a lot. This guy, we're all seeing it. You don't leave Americans behind. And Mitch, go ahead.
I think his mental deterioration is at a rate right now where that's going to move a lot faster than any 25th or an impeachment on him.
Correct.
That's going to move slow. I like the fact that those Republicans that are pounding on him right now.
Yeah.
That's the best we're going to do right now. But if you see his behavior, you just track his behavior. He was don't misunderstand. He was
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago. He was terrible
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago. He's always been a buffoon.
Right.
He's always been a buffoon.
Mm-hmm.
He's stupid. He's not bright. For decades, he's been that way.
Yeah.
He's a character assassinator. He's a demagogue. But right now, just watch it month to month. If you pull up a tape of him,
Yep.
or his speeches this week, and you compare them to 3 months ago, he's worse. So you take a look at that rate. I don't think he's going to be in office by Christmas. I don't. I think his decline is going to. It may not mean anything good for us because whose
Right.
successors know better.
Right.
But he is an embarrassment to the country, and I think the media. At some point, the media, which I hate, I'd love to see his opposition, our side, take him out. But like it or not,
Right.
his own is going to take him out.
Yeah.
He's either going to go on his own,
Yep.
because he's going to wind up in a chair, eating from a straw, or the media will take him out.
Yeah.
But, sadly, it won't be McConnell. And it's not going to be the Republican Party.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be the media. They're going to. I feel like you got CNN. I mean, they were backing up when all this was going on, and had to, because they couldn't hide what was going on, so they had to report.
No.
Finally, they had to report some real news. Yeah. But now they're going back. They're backtracking. Oh, Biden did this. The war's over. This and this and this. The whole purpose of Biden doing this was because he wanted to get past this and get this done before 9/11. Say, look, I'm a hero. I did this. No, you're not a hero. You're actually far worse. Lives have been lost because of this guy.
And Obama was a demagogue too.
Yeah.
Obama was a hardcore Marxist. He's a Marxist.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew what he was, but never in my life. No. Probably not in your life either. Have any of us in our entire lives seen somebody, president or any official, government official, behave the way this person is behaving. He really puts a stain on our country. He is marginalizing us as a country. Yeah. He is diminishing our greatness, and it's a terrible situation, and
it is.
It's not sustainable.
Yep.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the inflection point is going to be, but this just can't continue. More people are going to die. Yeah. In all likelihood, more people are going to continue to get hurt.
Yeah. Hey, he won't take blame for it. Of course not. That's just because who he is. He doesn't even care about, like we said, people falling off planes. He never said anything about that. It's sad.
Why was he yelling at?
Good.
When he addressed the country? I didn't watch the whole speech.
I may have not seen it.
He was yelling. He was yelling. All but yelling.
Well, he gets very angry. And if we remember about 5 days ago, I want to say he was up there speaking, and the reporter from, I believe he's from Fox News, one of the reporters went back at him. If you notice what he did, he cupped his hands, put his face down into his hands. Now, I've heard of 3 different things on that. First of all, I looked at it and I said, okay, first of all, he's either trying to think what to say because he has no idea what he's getting ready to say next, or it was anger, or as one of my friends put it, that I believe Obama would do something like that, like, oh my gosh, I'm crying, feel sorry for me, because that's another thing he may have been working on, and just doing that. No one feels sorry for you, Joe. Yeah, actually, everyone, if anybody... Go ahead.
You know what the result of that? I agree with you. I think he was doing it for effect. I do agree he was doing it for effect. But you know what we get out of it?
What?
We have an image for the ages.
Yeah.
You and I will be gone.
Yeah.
And they will have that in a history book 50 years from now. That sums up what his presidency. That sums up what he is as commander in chief. That was commander in chief addressing the country.
Yeah.
with his head bowed down like that. That's the image right there.
Yeah, and him turning his back constantly. I've never in my entire life, all the years I've lived, I've never seen that.
And he does this
constantly.
several times, right?
Yes.
I don't know if he must have people. He's told what he's allowed to say.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that he's not told. He's not also told, hey, stop turning your back on people. I don't think he remembers. I don't think he can stop himself.
Yeah, I know. Well, he did take a reporter the other day. I did see where a reporter, he did say, well, I'm really not supposed to talk to anybody right now. I mean, are you the president of the United States or is somebody in charge of you? Because we know someone apparently is in charge of him and cutting all the, and telling him what to do here. This isn't right. But the reporter comes back and says, well, let's talk about Afghanistan, because he said he would go ahead and talk about something. As soon as they said Afghanistan, you know what he did? He turned his back and walked away. So I can't talk about that, and walked right away. Just like he does with Afghanistan and the people he left behind. He just turns his back. Turns his back because he can't see it. It's behind me. I don't care. That's the rudest thing in the world to do. That's like Brian, spitting on these soldiers, huh?
We're all used to experiencing this just in the current context. The reason why we're going through this, a lot of it, well, first of all, he's a disaster.
Yeah.
But it's all because we have a vile, corrupt media. The media does not call this clown out.
Right.
And imagine if the media did pile on this guy.
Yeah.
They should have piled on him for the immigration, the open borders. They needed to pile on him for that. They needed to pile on him for the overspending. They need to pile on him for his racist behavior. Pile on him for this absolute disaster. I mean, at what point are they going to pile on him?
I know.
They will take. I don't know how. We don't have Limbaugh to predict anymore, but they are going to take him out. It's not going to be the Republicans to take him out.
No, eventually, like the media or somebody or his age will get to him, and then Democrats may take him out eventually and say, all right, let's put Harris in there. You know, maybe that's the process here. I don't know what they're doing. It's hard to say. I noticed Harris was kind of away from everything for a while. She was traveling, just moving around, not talking about Afghanistan. And all of a sudden, after Biden spoke and saying, we're out, I did this pretty much. Here's what and he did. He said, this is what our military did. I give him that. He did say that, but not to say we did not need to be out of there. We did need to be out of there, but it was done wrong. You get the Americans. Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't leave $80 billion of equipment. You don't take the military out first, and you don't lie.
Correct.
You don't lie, as we learned, right? Yeah. Is this memo with this discussion he had with the Afghan president?
Yes, that's out there. I just saw it tonight.
It was known that it was overrun. That's an impeachable defense. That's an impeachable defense right there.
Right.
So you're talking about McConnell. That again is just yet another illustration of what a vile human being he is. He is a corrupt, absolutely corrupt politician. And he's been one for the longest while.
Yeah, and I've been following him around, and I've been on his Twitter, and I've said some stuff to him. Never anything bad. I said, please do this, please do that. I've tried to say things out there to him. He doesn't respond to anybody because he doesn't care, apparently. And this just tonight, what I saw just proved how bad he is, too. And, I saw there was another thing I heard about today that Nancy Pelosi, which every time I say her name, my toes and my fingers are like all twirled up going, oh, I hate that sound of that name. Just because, there's a couple things I want to get into that with her. She wouldn't even let anybody in the House mention the 13 soldiers by name. Why not, Nancy? Why not? Because she doesn't care. She doesn't care. This certain group, they have no heart. Let me tell you something, Nancy. You claim that you're a Catholic Christian. Now, I'm a Christian. I can't judge. But I'll tell you what, if I could, there's a lot of things I'd say right now. And if I can't do what I want to say because most of America knows right now what I'm saying without saying it. Nancy, you better look in the mirror and really think about what Christianity's about. Because you prayed for Trump. I remember her saying, I prayed for Trump. I prayed for Trump. Well, look at all the evil stuff she's doing constantly. Constantly doing stuff. So
I don't understand how a person, if they're, is she 80 years old yet or 81?
Hold on. I think she's 80. Hold on. Watch this, guys. Alexa, how old is Nancy Pelosi?
Nancy Pelosi is 81 years old.
Hey, 81 years old.
I struggle with that. If I'm 81, even if I was the most ambitious of sorts, do I really want to be Speaker of the House and the head of government? I mean, why would you want that unless you like the power, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's
a tyrant. She is a tyrant.
Yeah.
And if you're 81 years of age, that's why you're there. You're tyrannical.
Yeah.
And that's the behavior we see. That's the behavior we see in her, and she's the whole lot of them. You know, I was reading that history book earlier this week, and you remember one of the founders, I forget which one it was, said is that power tends to corrupt.
Yeah.
And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Is that the way
right.
it was? I mean, that's what these bozos are to me. They are an insult.
Yeah.
They're an insult to our way of life. They're an insult to what makes and what has made this country great.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they take offense.
Yeah.
They take offense to those principles and institutions that do that do make this country good. So why would they pound away at them? Why would they be dismantling everything?
Oh, I know.
Unless they did. They hate this country.
I agree.
And I think it's only in the last few years, if we listen for those that are calling them out, you do hear it in those terms.
Yeah.
And that is just how blunt they are about it. They're out of the closet. They're out there. There's nothing. They're not diluting anything anymore. They're really letting their true feelings out, and they're on a campaign. They got a wrecking ball, and they're at it 24/7. And we're losing right now. We are losing.
America's losing, and the people of this country are losing. That's the real tragic thing.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's not about right or left. It's about what they're doing to Americans all the way around. And, you know, even some of the left out there, and not the radical, but even some of the left out there, they're just like, but Nancy's right. They just don't know, and they don't educate themselves, and they don't see what's going on with a Biden and all this stuff going on. So, I mean,
there are people who voted, and they would say that they voted, and I've heard this. I voted, well, why? Well, because I don't like Trump. Why don't you like Trump? Well, he insults me. You know, I don't like the way he behaves. Well, wait a minute. You have two choices. You have either socialism, Marxism, or you have somebody who loves the country and upholds the Constitution. Take your pick. Oh, wait a minute. No. I disregard those two, that binary choice, and my choice is I just don't like the way he acts.
Yeah,
that actually happens. So that is a huge mistake, and then the other huge mistake that I see happening, and I've seen this as well. Well, if it's bad, it's always been a pendulum. Always goes back and forth. You'll have the Democrat win, you'll have the Republican win. You know, it goes back and forth. You shift right. That's not what's happening here.
Yeah,
we are hard and fast left, and it's going to go left to the point where it breaks unless it gets put down, and that's I don't know what that put down means though, because when you've got well, they don't represent us, but when you got quote unquote representatives like McConnell, and some of the other ones that right now, even the ones Brian, you'll hear that they're criticizing and they're calling out the administration now. I know exactly how they behaved when it came time to fight after that election, and they all scurried. They all scattered.
They did.
Like rats. And I'm not going to call their names out. I see them. I see them interviewed, and I see strong patriots that they give them compliments and they appreciate their
Yeah.
being a part of the argument or fighting against the administration. But I don't have time for them.
Yeah.
I don't have time for them because I know what they did. There's veterans that did the same thing. Um, I know their names too. I'm not. I just cannot forget what they did. So when
Yeah.
I hear them running their mouths, Brian, that's all it is.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
You know, I talk about this, and I know some people, especially Nancy Pelosi and hate Marjorie Greene Taylor. You know, Marjorie Greene's she's new. She's new into this. And for being new into this, I got to tell you, I respect everything she's trying to do. I think she's sincere about everything she's trying to do. I give her that, and she really is doing her best. But she's not part of the club, as I want to say, so she doesn't have the authority, apparently, that they're trying to cut her out of because she's not part of the club. And where Mitch McConnell, you know, I could say this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch McConnell, Biden, and all of them go, hey, okay, well, we acted like we were mad against each other. Let's all go have a steak together. Let's go all hang out because the club is important. It's just like some of these wrestling matches out there. A lot of it, they're going to come after me, but a lot of it is.
No, you're right.
A lot of it's fake, and they do it to get drama and all, and then makes me really wonder what really goes on in D.C. Like, hey, how are you doing, guys? Let's go out and have a steak.
It's that D.C. bubble, right?
Yes.
It's far from reality.
Yeah.
And McConnell illustrated it. 13 dead Americans like that, and it's never good. You can lose 13 or more in battle, but under those circumstances, what makes it worse?
Let's not forget all the Afghans that were lost that day too. And
absolutely.
Explosion.
No, I mean we that goes without saying. But yeah, you're right. And there was quite a few of them too.
Oh yeah,
I understand. And then to forsake them like that.
Yeah.
I remember in early in the war, after 9/11, in the reporting, they would talk about Afghan support, and they'd have to be with them for the long haul because, God forbid, if America had to bail, it was a given what was going to happen to these people. And here we are 20 years later, and this guy pulls the plug.
Yeah.
Not only that is he also says, well, we got 90% out, and something along the line. You notice how he qualifies what he says because he's such a lying.
Right.
The dual citizenship stuff. Give me a break. Yeah. That's nonsense. You qualify it that way, and whatever number of times they tried to get him out since March. Did you talk to them directly? Were you there in person with him, or did you you send some carpet bomb note out and said, "Hey, you need to be out of here"? And like I heard one of the on one of the radio shows where people are not going to really leave, I think, until they realize that the military's ready to leave.
Yeah,
and that would be the signal. Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're really serious about getting out. Well, the military, it left first.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And got this, and then he gets out, and I don't care if he got 99% out.
Yeah.
What about the 1%? What if it's 10 left? That's unacceptable.
I agree.
And he doesn't have the ability. He's tone deaf to it. He doesn't comprehend. He doesn't have the competency to understand.
Right.
That for him to say that the 90%, it just shows how far out of it he is.
Yeah.
Because if it's one American, it's too many.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's true. And I remember just hearing, they've had so many different stories. They know how much, first of all, they know how much equipment they lost. They know it's been in the billions of dollars. We're not sure. They know. They have a record of all this. Now, the other thing, I want to go back to what you were talking about a minute ago. Look, originally I heard, there were 100 Americans left behind. Because they wanted to stay behind. That's not true. That's a lie. And then all of a sudden, and we see it. This is an open lie if you guys think about it out there. Because first of all, it's 100. Then maybe it's 250. Maybe it's this. We're getting different numbers as of today. It's 10%. 10% is a lot of people now all of a sudden. 10% of what? 10% of what? 10,000? I mean, come on. Think about this. How many people is that now? That's a lot. And you believe that, what they're saying? 10%? Probably triple that the way they're going.
Yeah, the amount of lying,
and it's wide open.
Yeah, the amount of lying correlates with the amount of corruption. When you can lie like that so freely,
right?
It's just a symptom.
I know.
It's a symptom of a bigger problem, and it's Washington Washington won't solve it, right?
Yeah,
because that party is so radical and so tyrannical right now, and then you have the other party that is part of the swamp, and they are, with the exception of a handful, and even some of the handful, I've since the election, I've lost faith in them.
I've lost faith in the
system that are fighter.
And
now, like people like Tom Cotton or even Crenshaw, the guy that wears the patch. I know that they failed about the election. I'm not forgetting it.
Yeah.
So I'm very the ones that are up at the front lines, we know who they are, and they got our support, but it's not enough of them.
Right.
It's not enough of them for it to be a political solution.
Well, talking about Mitch McConnell and something, what he said is, just remember, we'll vote them out. Mitch, let me ask you a question. Seriously, and let me ask everybody out there a question. How can you rely on voting someone out if the system is flawed?
That's right.
Mitch.
That's right.
How? You know what I saw? Gosh. Oh, what's his name? I just went completely blank on who I was going to say now. Anyway. It's, this is just crazy to see what's going on with this. Go ahead.
If McConnell, which he dismissed the irregularities of the election, but you're absolutely right, is if you don't have free and fair elections, what's the point? Yeah. Not only that, is we may not even have a country. But I get a bit annoyed by this. I hear it time and time again. Mm-hmm. Well, 2022, right? 2022. We may not have a country. We may not have a country.
The way this is going, you're right.
The way it's going, the rate that it's going. We had enough problems domestically, huge, major issues. Yeah. Iron fist stuff going on domestically. Now this bid, he's got it all covered. He's got it domestic and he's got it foreign covered. It's a colossal disaster.
And that's what he was bragging on. He was sitting here bragging on this as he was speaking, Biden was, and he was saying how everybody likes him in the world. Well, I tell you, I hate to burst his bubble, but he is hated by a lot of other countries right now, and they're coming out saying that. They said everything was handled here wrong. He betrayed some of these other countries as well, because everybody's looking at America like, we can't count on them anymore. We just can't count on them. They were the ones we could count on, and we were known for this stuff. We're known to step in and help out.
No, there's no doubt. That standing and that order that we maintain to varying degrees, stronger by some administrations than others.
Yeah.
Now it's gone. It's just gone.
I know.
We're not reliable. We're turncoats.
Yep.
That administration, not America.
No. We understand.
Like it or not, that's what we've got. They theoretically represent our country. They're elected our officials, although you and I, with that election, which I can't get over, is that, if and when the data ever does come out, that's what happened. But that is our supposed to be. It's not representative government. They are the ones that represent us.
You
And,
know, all right. I do want to say this. You mentioned something about turncoats, and you said it wasn't Americans' faults. Their fault, I should say. I want to kind of iterate on that. Some of them are at fault. Some of these Americans out there that voted for Joe Biden and continue to support him, they're turncoats.
oh, I would agree with you. Yeah,
So
I had.
they need to look in the mirror, and they got just as much blood on their hands to continue to support this
Yeah,
guy.
and I maybe to add what you're saying too is that you could say, well, that maybe one of them says, well, my vote didn't matter, right? I voted for Biden, but
Yeah.
my vote mattered. It didn't
Matters.
matter because my state went. No, they're not, because
Yeah.
you had that ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
and you chose that. You chose a candidate that, had you paid attention,
Yeah.
had you read the policies that were in fact documented, that the manifesto that they had, their Green New Deal manifesto, you didn't take the time. You just had, because you had the D next to the name. That means that's what you had to do.
Right.
Blind decision making. Just sad. But you're right. Yeah, they have accountability. They absolutely have accountability in it, and that's maybe a lesson to be
Yeah.
learned. Is
Yeah.
that maybe some of them are going to look right now and say, you know what, boy,
Yeah.
I voted for the guy.
Yeah. And some of them have. Some of them are sorry, and I've heard it from quite a few that they're saying, I am so disappointed that I made that vote.
Well, Brian, there's going to be some that even today, with all the events, they're probably tickled by this guy.
Yeah.
They're not even worth talking about. It's just unfortunate that they're in this country.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
You know, this is one thing I was going to say, too. I remember Chuck Schumer. I think it was right after they passed the bill. And you got Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell trying to race. It was almost like they were racing to the podium to speak.
Yeah,
and Chuck Schumer gets up there. Instead of Mitch McConnell, it's like Chuck Schumer's looking like, haha, I got up here. Instead of Mitch McConnell doing the right thing, I actually saw it in Mitch McConnell's eyes and face. It was more like, okay, I will bow down and crawl backwards. He's scared. He's terrified.
He lost the grandpa monster. Yeah.
Yeah. He has no, I want to use a different word. We'll say backbone, but I have a different word I want to use, but I can't. But things like that, just seeing this guy, what he does, and he's just not capable. And, it makes me wonder how much, and it comes to all these guys up there, how much do they have on each other? You know what I mean?
Brian, imagine this, though.
Yeah.
I was just thinking with this Afghanistan situation right on the eve of the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
Yeah.
And just imagine if Trump was still president, he still had the strength
and
the standing, and somebody who is a patriot. And I would guess, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine he would honor. He would recognize that 20th anniversary the right way.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Look at what we've got right now. And it would be a time after 20 years to reflect and to remember. Look at what we got now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like you don't even want to go there because now it's too painful.
Yeah.
It's always going to be painful, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Doesn't matter how far from that day, but now you've got. It could have been something that could be uplifting, right? Yeah, a lot of pain, but look at where we've come. We've kept strikes on the homeland, and we've paid a heavy price for it. But boy, did we get a lot done, right?
Yeah.
Not just one administration.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just trying to imagine it. It's just going to be raw to even approach that day, because it's going to put in mind the collapse that this guy let happen. the way
Right.
it did, and
You,
and that just changes
yeah.
everything about that date that's coming
It,
up, don't you think?
yeah, 9/11 is going to change completely because before we would think, oh, this is what 9/11 was about, never forget.
Yeah,
Well, now because of what
yeah,
Joe Biden did based on 9/11, everybody's going to look
yeah,
at what he's done terribly with this whole
yeah,
process, and they're going to think of that more than the people that passed away on 9/11 because of what he's done. So I
yeah.
see where you're going with this, and it's a very tragic thing, and
Yeah,
it's just gonna, yeah,
I think we don't even know yet just
hmm,
how much damage
a lot,
this thing has
and it,
caused. It's almost like there's still a level of shock, right?
yeah, it is,
There's going to be an anger phase
yeah,
that's probably not
yeah,
quite there yet. It's there, but
yeah,
uh, that's what this administration, the disregard that uh, this administration has for the country
yeah,
and our principles and its citizens and its military.
yeah,
Um, it's just going to get worse, and people are
yeah,
going to continue to get hurt.
yeah.
Could be me, could be my family. Now we're indirectly feeling it, right?
Right,
Nothing
right,
like
right. Sure,
some other people. Look at our law enforcement community.
I know.
Look at the police force.
Yeah,
Look at how they're treated. Look at how the vaccinated
yeah,
versus the people don't want to get vaccinated. Look at the way they're treated
I know.
and discredited and marginalized and attacked.
Hmm.
That's all this administration is about. Is just
Yeah,
dispiriting and
yeah.
diminishing the lives of
Hmm.
uh, citizens.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Yeah, and I do want to retract something I said the other day about Trump because I was mentioning something about Trump, and I need to say this for my viewers out there. When I was talking with the other day, we were here with Jerry and had Paul Fitz and stuff on the phone, and when we were speaking about the only thing I said is I agreed with everything Trump had. He had a plan. But what I said is, I said, the only thing I disagree with Trump on is he never was going to keep anybody. He was going to evacuate everybody and wasn't going to keep any troops over there. Well, Trump changed that last night, and he had a reason why. And
Huh?
it makes sense. So Trump said, he said everything that I said, except he said he was going to go ahead and keep a military base over there, just like they did in South Korea and stuff like that. And that's what he was going to do. And he did not want the Taliban to know that. And he's got a point. He's the president, and that's what he was doing. So, and that I need to go ahead and correct and say, thank you, Donald Trump, or, thank you for that.
Oh,
And again, there's always a plan when you have a real commander in chief that does it right, doesn't need to brag about everything like Joe Biden. I mean, sometimes Trump would get on his little horse, and yeah, that's Trump, though. I mean,
but that's who he
he's
is,
a
right?
showsman, he's a salesman. He knows,
But what he's
he
getting done,
negotiates.
it's real stuff.
Yeah,
It's real stuff. He could be as bombastic as he wants. This clown,
yep,
just to try to make something positive about his, the evacuation. And,
yeah,
I don't care if it was a million people. I think most of the countries like this, if a
yeah,
million, let's say he evacuated a million people instead of 120,000 or whatever it was,
yeah,
doesn't matter. We got 13 dead Americans, and we got
correct.
people behind enemy lines now. We still don't know. Um, it's not over yet.
The war's not over, no,
Um,
by any means. No, no matter what he
and
wants to
then
say.
if he says anything about an international community, it's like, what pressure can you put on that?
Yeah,
God knows how much money they're probably secretly going to pay to get whatever Americans that are still, uh, in Afghanistan right now, uh, because he doesn't have any bargaining. He's got nothing.
right.
Uh,
I
they hold the cards.
You know, Mark Levin, I heard him speaking tonight. I'm going to say it. Mark Levin said it exactly the right way. Mark Levin, one guy gets on his show and he says, what do you think they're going to do to get the military weapons and all back and get the people back? You know what Mark Levin says? And I have to agree with Mark Levin. Nothing. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
They're not. And there's going to be no negotiations because the Taliban does not negotiate. They just kill. And they kill and don't care.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Right.
And this administration, it's pervasive all the way through. I don't know their names. You know, they're all woked out. Billy or whoever he is, he's all concerned about white supremacy and his white guilt. And you listen to Blinken and you listen to the other cabinet officials, and it's scary. They all should be flushed out. They all should be fired. They're not going to be fired, right? They're bureaucrats. They're incompetent. They're not leaders, and they're the ones that are have the blood on their hands, and the media's giving them a pass.
And the media is just as guilty of this too. If they want to look at themselves, they're just they are.
Yeah, I think that's fundamentally what's the reason why we're swinging so far.
Yeah.
Into this period that we're in is because of a corrupt media.
I need to bring something up because you were talking about with Blue Lives, and you know, I saw this on a video today, and it's sad. It was heartbreaking in many ways, but there was a police officer. I can't remember his name, but he was talking about. He changed it from saying Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. He just said lives matter. That's what he was starting to use. Well, apparently he was so devastated over everything that's going on, how the government has turned and want to defund the police and everything that's going on. It's sad what happened to him. He must have been going through some type of serious depression, but he made this really nice video, and I was watching it, and he was talking about how lives matter, and he was talking about what's going on with getting defunded and all this stuff going on. It lasted for probably a good maybe 8 or 9 minutes. And then right after that, he killed himself. He was quitting the force anyway, and he killed himself because he's so depressed. This is what's going on with these people. How would you like to be spit on and yelled at right in your face? And we see it on YouTube and these other sources, these news sources, and they can't do anything back. And when your government or your mayor or your governor don't support you, how can you respond to that? This guy was going through serious depression. It makes me wonder how many other police officers are out there going through this, just like military right now, because like I've said, we have military who sacrifice not just lives. I mean, we've got military who've sacrificed arms, legs, many things, so much trauma, so much mental, seeing what's going on, seeing them decapitate people, burning people alive. I've seen these videos, some of them, and it's sick. It's sick that they actually allow this out there on some of these channels. Yet they won't let your political belief be out there, but they'll let dogs being hurt or animals being hurt or people getting punched in the face and things like that, and all that violence, because that's what they like, because they get money off. Negative feeds more money to them, and that's all they care about. Yeah. And I've said this many times on this show, and it's sad when you got somebody like Zuckerberg that can't look at him, can't look in the mirror and see what he's really doing here, because when he was young, he was probably a nice kid growing up. I don't know. And then he changed over time because he got greed, he got money, he got power, and that's what he was looking at, and he just turned. And I've seen this happen to several people. I've seen it happen to some people I know in life. And it's sad because you come into this world with nothing. You go out with nothing. That's it. You're not any better than anybody else.
But we gotta figure it out. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how. I do what I can. I'm trying to be more effective at it because
Yeah.
keep coming back to McConnell is that DC is
Yeah.
diseased.
I know.
Uh, I want to help out the people that got hurt,
Yeah.
these families that are ruined, and
I know. And,
we just got to organize. We got to because I don't know what the point's going to be, but
right.
People, it's not sustainable what's coming.
Right. This is why I want to run for Senate. I really would love to run for U.S. Senate, but I'm not a known. And the problem is I don't know how fast, I've got to do my steps to get there. And God knows if I'll run for U.S. Senate down the road, but because I really would like to be, I myself would like to be up there fighting for the people of this country. And, that's why I believe in term limits, because of a couple reasons. Because we get new ideas in there. We get these people that have these old ideas out. Plus, we can't discriminate against age, so term limits will fix that.
Yeah.
So, which makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
Yeah. And people should have the right to vote on this. Anything else before we end this show tonight?
No, just try to keep our heads up and fight it as best we can the right way. And we'll probably find ways. We're going to have to find ways.
Yeah.
To push back.
Yeah.
This where I live. It's not as much of a problem.
Right.
But I do go to places where it is a problem, and I won't tolerate it. I'm not going to be stifled. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to just conform.
Right.
In what way that I can do and resist, I'm going to do it. And also try to find how I can, and I have learned more and try to learn how to be effective at fighting.
Yeah.
Because we're running out of time.
Well, you did say where you live, but you got to remember, too, I'm sure you got family in other areas of this country and other parts of the state and stuff, and that's very important, too, because you know where they're at, and they're not in the same area you are, so they're having to deal with some of this stuff, some of these riots and violent stuff going on out there, and that's very concerning, very concerning. And that falls back on this president and the governor of each state and the mayor of each city. And that goes back on them. And by them not doing their job, that's a problem. So,
no, like I said, we'll keep our heads up and let's don't let them dispirit us. It's a tough time. It's going to be this way for a while, but we gotta figure it out.
Well, guys, Brian, stay on the phone with me in a minute. I'm going to talk to you after I get off here for a second. But, guys, I do want to say this. First of all, just keep in mind when you're out there, all you can do right now is vote, talk to your friends, talk to your friends who are making decisions and thinking about this. Talk some common sense into them. I will say one thing. I had a friend of mine, which we're friends, but we're having some real issues here right now, and I get posted right away. I'm just ignoring everything this individual's saying, but he posts something like, "Oh, look what Mitch McConnell did today." I'm thinking it's funny. This isn't funny. This is serious times. People died. Not funny at all. And I know he's on the left, but he's a sheep. He has blindfolds on, and that's sad. And I see this stuff, and I choose to ignore him right now, especially when he's doing something that I feel like is very immature. I'll say it that way. But going back into this, Brian, you have anything to say before we end this?
No, just thanks, Brian.
Okay, so stay on the phone with me, Brian. But anyway, guys, I just want to say, as always, I do want to thank our law enforcement out there, especially with what's going on right now. We do support you. Our military, listen, guys, we are supporting you like crazy. We know you've had to make some tough decisions, some of the decisions that you did not want to do, that you had no choice because you were told and ordered to do this. We already know of one person out there right now in the military right now who is actually was ready to retire in, I think it was 2 or 3 years, who spoke against what was going on. And generally military doesn't do that, but he had a valid point. And I have to stand up for this guy and say, okay, I definitely believe in what you're doing here, because he was doing the right thing. And now he's going to quit. And this is some guy that's had like 18 years in the force. So it's sad to see this. And we do support you. And we definitely right now are supporting all the families, especially who have lost loved ones, especially the people right now currently have lost 13 people in their lives. Fathers have lost children. Mothers have lost children. Wives have lost husbands. It's tragic. And children have now lost their parents because of this failure of this administration. Failure. Also, I do want to thank our farmers out there, our first responders right now, and I do want to thank our truck drivers, what's going on out there right now. We know you guys are having a hard time. And as always, I do want to thank you for all you people that are really out there working right now. We know there's a chip shortage going on and other things going on throughout the country. People are hard. It's hard to get people to work in your restaurants and stuff right now. I'm seeing people having difficulties there. But again, for all you people out there working and not getting some of this free money, thank you. We all are looking at you and really appreciate that. For those of you who aren't working and not caring, I don't know what to say to you. I mean, just look in the mirror and you need some help. But again, God bless you guys. God bless America, guys. Take care. Love you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great, great night and take care. Thank you.